What you see here is a fairly typical connection of a company network. And I say connection, more configuration and connection. So everything on this side is the company, and the connection is to the internet. So here is another network somewhere out there on the internet. So this is what I'm showing you here, and this connection here is the internet. Now keep in mind that there's two PCs here on this network. There could be, and probably is, a lot more. Same thing here, a lot more than these two computers. I just represented, or I just put two PCs there for testing purposes. And I've also went on and labeled everything I could think of. And this is going to be a series of videos, and I'll explain to you as we go what's going on. In this first video, we'll kind of go over the basics here. Inside the network, the company network, your network, whatever you want to call it, I've got an internal router 1 and an internal router 2, and I've got what I call a border router, company border router, and then of course switches, PCs, etc. Now notice here there's a difference between these connections and these connections, and this is because router to router you need a crossover cable. So that's what you're seeing here. Now think about this in your connections between devices. You want the transmit pair of one device hooked to the receive pair of the other device. Now typically that's taken care of in a switch. This doesn't happen from router to router, so that's why I had to do a crossover here. So these dashed lines are crossovers. Now you'll notice also that we got the little green triangles here, which means that these connections are up and functioning. So from these this network PCs to this router and then over to this network, all these are green, and that's because I've configured the router, and we'll look at that in a moment. Down here, notice we've got the green triangles just to the switches and not on to the router. I haven't configured this router yet, so next video we'll take care of that. Now just to prove to you that this part is functioning, let's do a little testing with ping. Now keep in mind that ping it's unreliable as far as testing. It works inside of packet tracer, but in the real world there's a lot of reasons why ping will fail although the connection is good. So just keep that in mind. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to use packet tracer's desktop to ping this computer. So go to the command prompt and type ping, and that network is 192.168.100.101, and we're pinging from 192.168.100.102. And I just randomly pick these numbers from some of the private IP ranges. So we can ping here to here, and we can do that because this is all on the same network. This would work even if this router wasn't configured. And just to prove that to you, let's go down and try that. So let's go to this one and desktop, command prompt, ping. Makes me wish I'd copied that other address, 192.168. So now we're pinging 102.101. So I'm here pinging this computer. And this works, although we've got the red triangle here indicating the router's not configured. If you're pinging on the same network, you don't need the router. Switch is all you need. Now, up here, since I've got this router configured, I can go here, and again, I wish I'd have copied that. So I'm at 192.168.101.102, but I want to ping 192.168.100.101. Now, I'm going from here through the switch to the router, back to this switch, into this computer. So these are two different networks. And don't worry about this, we'll talk about the summarization later. And since this is a fairly realistic simulation, sometimes it'll fail the first couple of times. Which makes me wonder if I got it configured correctly. Well, good. Now we have a chance to do some troubleshooting. So, let's think about this. Let's try to troubleshoot, in the troubleshooting process, let's ping this interface. So I want to ping here, up arrow. So I want to ping 101.1. And we're not getting a response. This kind of tells me that maybe there's a problem here with the configuration of this gigabit 0/2 interface. So let's go look at it. So settings, and which one do I want? The O2. Aha! Look what I did when I configured this. 192.168.101.101 on this interface. Well, that's actually the same IP number here, but this just needs to be .1. And I can tell you why that happened, because I was copying and pasting these numbers to save time, and I didn't edit this one. So let's try this again. Interesting. Well, let's go back and look at this configuration. Aha! Notice here, I haven't configured a default gateway for this. Let's do that. So 192, 168, 101.1, and let's check the Ethernet. Apparently, I forgot to configure those. Silly bee. So let's copy that, move over here, paste it, and this is 102. Let's put that in there. Go back to our command prompt here and try it again. And this time it works. So this time, this particular instance, I had two problems. I had an incorrect IP address on this router interface, and I forgot to configure a default gateway here. So, troubleshooting 101. So this kind of indicates to me that this computer here also needs to be configured. So let's do that. And what I'm going to do here is copy this, go here, config, paste. Now, I need to edit that one, and go here, paste. Need to edit this one too. And if I click here, I get the subnet mask, of course. Let me remind you that if you were really configuring this on a typical PC, a typical Windows PC, it doesn't look like this. So this is one of the things about Packet Tracer that doesn't quite match up on reality. And there's a few of these, and there's also some that really match quite closely. So just keep in mind that in the real world, there may be a difference between what you do in Packet Tracer and what you do on a real device. So let's try this. So let's ping and paste, and let's see, that would be this computer right here. And of course that works. And keep in mind, this also verified that my default gateway was properly configured. So, there was some explanation of the circuit that I'm building here, or this diagram, this network that I'm building, and some troubleshooting, because I thought I had it right, but guess what? I didn't. Now, down here, let's see if I've got these configured. That one's got a default gateway, it's got an IP number, and let's try it with ping. So we're on 102, 101, let's ping 192, 168, 102.102, which is this computer. And that's working because I've got the IP number configured on this, apparently, or obviously. Let's try to ping this one. So that's going to be 103, 101. And I expect this one to fail. And it's going to. The reason it's going to fail is this router's not configured. So that's going to be what we do next. And that means we're finished with this particular video.